Good morning, everyone. My name is Emma. I am a free tour guide at Office English Center. So, to start up with the topic today, I would like to ask you a question. Yes, that's what is the three most popular beverage in the world, alongside with water and tea? So, can you get it? Yes, it's a coffee. Yes, a billion of, of people in the world drink coffee every day. But to talk about the history of coffee, I think there are not so many people can know about this. So today I will show you more about the coffee, and my presentation have three parts. The first one, I will show you the history of coffee, and secondly, yeah, I will go to the detail of origins and the coffee history in Vietnam, and finally, I will introduce you the so special recipe of coffee in Vietnam. Is it egg coffee? Yeah. And let's move on to the first. Firstly, yes, the history of coffee dates back to the century of oral tradition in Africa. Coffee plants grew wide in Ethiopia and were widely used by normal tribal for thousands years. And coffee spread to Europe at the early of 16th century. Coffee arrived in Italy in the second half of the 16th century through the commercial trade route, and at that time is only being served for the health, for the for the for the wealthy, for the wealthy. By the middle of 17th century, it it had to reach to India and around India in East India. By the 1852, globally Brazil becomes the largest producer of coffee, and is no one yes, and Brazil is no one coffee producer until nowadays. Since the 1950, saw the widening of playing field due to the emergence of several other major producers, especially like Colombia, Ivory Coast, Ethiopia, and Vietnam. Yes, now Vietnam is the second largest coffee producer in the world. And yeah, it's a history of coffee. And now move on to the detail of origins and the history of coffee in Vietnam. Coffee was introduced in Vietnam in 1857 by the French and slowly grew as a producer of coffee in Asia. It was planted in the south of Central Highland and the, the southeast, the southeastern region also. And it was discovered that the Central Highlands was the most suitable place to grow coffee. Coffee production has been major majority source of income for Vietnam since the early 20th century. It was introduced by yeah, and Vietnam coffee industry developed through the plantation system, becoming a major economic force in the country. Yes, and yeah, it's a history of coffee in Vietnam. And are you curious? Are you curious about What is the difference between Vietnamese coffee and regular coffee? Yes, I will show you now. The main the main difference between Vietnamese coffee and regular coffee is the Vietnamese coffee it tends to bitter and be stronger, Yes, Vietnamese coffee is rich, flavorful, and as we Vietnamese coffee has in Vietnamese coffee is robusta style, and regular coffee is usually Arabica type. How to and how to roast coffee. It has a lead. It have a it ha, Has a difference. Vietnamese coffee is dark in color, and they are longer roasted. Regular coffee is roasted for a short time, and it's lighter than normal, as lighter than Vietnamese coffee. And yes, let's move on to the final part. I will introduce you a special coffee recipe in Vietnam. It's the egg coffee. Branch name is Dạ Coffee. Yes. Now I would like to start by the history of 70 years old coffee brand name. Dạ Coffee, which is a long story, stood out as a hello specialty. It was named after founder of coffee shop, Mr. Nguyễn Văn Giảng. The traditional coffees came up with many different kinds of tastes, but egg coffee, in Vietnam we call cà phê trứng, is the star, and egg coffee as Giảng. Giảng cà phê is told to be the finest, and it's the most item that you must try. You have a try when you visit Hà Nội city, Vietnam, and you wonder what is it, right? And the coffee, egg coffee, the coffee is roasted, ground, and carefully filtered before being brewed in a small cup. What makes Vietnamese egg coffee is the drip filter. The liquid then will be mixed with whipped and finely egg yolk and other ingredients, condensed milk or sugar. The liquid, and once the former step is done, the beverage will come up with the small spoon and to be served with a bowl of hot water to retain the necessary heat. The size of the cup were small. It fits to the hand. Your hands. The texture is rich, and it's so more suitable for you and your friends. Sit down and enjoy the coffee, a cup of coffee, and chatting, hang out each other with your friends, and slowly stirring the cup of coffee. Yes, now I will show you how to make the egg coffee. Ingredient is very simple. One egg, 3 teaspoons of Vietnamese coffee powder, 2 spoons of condensed milk or sugar. It depends on you, and of course hot water, boiling water. How to cook it? Brew. The first one, you need to brew a small cup of Vietnamese coffee by Vietnamese special filter, and then in the time of waiting, you crack the egg and separate the yolk and white. Depart the white. Add the egg yolk and condensed milk or sugar to the pitcher and whip it with a hand blender. You continue whipping until you have a soft peak, egg yolk, and the volume will be more double. than double, more than double. And so finally, add the coffee liquid into the suitable cup, and then spoon on the sweet egg mixture over the top, and enjoy it. If you want to keep the heat, please prepare the bowl of hot water. Yeah, it's like you go to the coffee store. Yeah, so it's delicious. Let's enjoy it. So today I have told you about the detail of about the history of coffee and the origins and the history of coffee in Vietnam, and introduce you special recipes, special cuisine. Coffee in Vietnam is egg coffee. So hope you have a good experience in Vietnam and especially in Hà Nội city. So thanks for your pay attention.